Ask Tom on Home Show.
Jonathan from Pasadena has a question about Hardie trim.
Well, he wants to replace some trim around his windows and his doors, Tom, with Hardie trim. Jonathan asks, how do I install it? He says, I want to use a nail gun, but what kind of nails and nail gun should I use? He says, I've Googled and I can't find any suggestions. I'd also like to replace all the trim around the house with Hardie. I'm thinking about a framing nail gun, but what type of nails? I don't know. I don't want, he says, fat nail heads showing on my trim, and who would?
Well, everybody that puts Hardie on is going to see a nail head. Hardie, if you look at the specifications, you're not supposed to break the surface, even on the trim. So you have to get creative. And don't use 450 nails on a piece of trim. It's just trim. Just use a few. And it's a number 6 common is what is usually used. And so depending on the gun you buy and the type of nail you get, it's going to be somewhat of a number 6 common. So just look at the same type of nail that's going to be in that category. And as far as it goes, the nails are the heads are pretty small, and if you set your gun right and you just set the head on the surface, when you go to paint it, you won't see it. But if you break the surface, there's a good chance that the Hardie could come off in high winds or in different situations. So Hardie always says, if you can blind nail it, with trim you can't. Just use a few nails just to put it in place, caulk it, paint it, it'll be fine. And set the nail head flush. Don't try to use staples or finished nails. You can do it, some people do, but you're breaking the surface, and that's a no-no when it comes to a Hardie product.
All right. Yeah, because a lot of the Hardie stuff isn't it kind of like blind nailed from behind where you can't see it? I mean, the siding products, Tom?
The siding, you always like to blind nail, and so that's why you don't see all those nails all over. But when they come together and you can't blind nail on the top, you'll still see these 2 little nail heads at the bottom corners if they do it right. But it really blends fine because you're not looking at a roofing nail. You're looking at a small common number 6, which is a small headed nail. And with the guns, they actually have smaller heads on them. So you just don't want to break the surface, put a hole in there. If you do, and it happens with a nail gun sometimes, because the problem with doing trim with a nail gun, and it's done all the time though, don't get me wrong, is you have to go back and either set the nail down, or sometimes it will punch through and you'll have to fix it a little bit when you paint. Don't let it break your heart and cry over your beer on that one. Just, it'll be fine. Because a nail gun is not always exactly right when it comes to doing trim work, especially if you're using a nail to do trim.
All right, you got a question? Tom will help you out. He'll trim you up real good. Go visit HomeShowRadio.com, click on that blue Ask Tom button, and send us your information. Send us pictures. Pictures would help a lot. I'd love to have seen the trim he was going to replace on that, by the way. Fill out this form. Include the pictures, like I said, because that helps us. We want to do a good job for everybody. We want to help you out, and that's why we do these things and have for years, and we'll continue to do so. You'll find them at HomeShowRadio.com, our Facebook page, and, of course, on our YouTube channel. And again, a favor, if you go to our YouTube channel and you watch some of those, if you give them a thumbs up, that would help us and make them easier to find, too.